Recorded Books presents Francis Oldham Kelsey, the FDA, and the Battle Against Thalidomide by Cheryl Krasnick Warsh. Narrated by Andrea Gallo. Introduction. A personal life, a national agency, and a global tragedy. Thalidomide has haunted the experience of pregnancy in the Western world since the 1960s. Millennial women may not recognize the term, but they have, for the most part, absorbed the knowledge that the pills, drugs, alcohol, and nicotine they ingest can affect their fetuses, possibly in horrific ways. Thalidomide accelerated a change in popular attitudes toward medicine. The post-war years were the zenith of the great physician. Magic bullets had protected a generation from meningitis, diphtheria, scarlet fever, syphilis, and polio. Surgical advancements and anesthetics had revolutionized procedures and childbirth. The great physician became the arbiter of life and death, and the unquestioned dispenser of pills and potions. Yet on the horizon were the storm clouds of nuclear radiation, toxic water, and other environmental dangers, minimal access to safe birth control and abortion, and growing rates of addiction to prescription medication. All these factors would lead to the women's health movement and the proactive health consumer in the 1960s and 1970s, and the catalyst would be thalidomide. The thalidomide tragedy inspired artistic efforts and scholarly studies. Sylvia Plath's poem, Thalidomide, which evoked "Your dark amputations, crawl and appall," was a contemporary contribution. There were documentaries, journalistic accounts, and interdisciplinary works. In 2013, the BBC Father Brown Mysteries series aired an episode in which a death occurred as a result of an infant's gross deformities from the drug, and in 2019, another British series, Call the Midwife, used prosthetics to depict a thalidomide baby. In 2005, The Flid Show was mounted off Broadway, starring Matt Fraser, an actor and thalidomide victim. In 2017, W.L. Newkirk's play on the thalidomide tragedy highlighted Dr. Francis Oldham Kelsey and her role in curtailing the drug's distribution in the United States. This was a role for which Kelsey had prepared for decades. Frankie Oldham entered university at the age of 15 in the 1920s, and as she progressed through undergraduate and graduate degrees in science, the number of women in her cohort thinned considerably. She learned to maneuver around and through glass ceilings, political agendas, and outright opposition from drug companies and lobbyists. As the trainee of Dr. Eugene Geiling, himself the student of the father of modern pharmacology, John Jacob Abel, Kelsey represented a flourishing discipline. Because pharmacology involves the study of how drugs interact with biological functions, it requires animal testing. This, however, was an activity that had been fraught with controversy for centuries. William Harvey, one of the giants of the Enlightenment scientific revolution in medicine, who demonstrated that blood circulated in the body, made his findings through experimentation with live animals or vivisection. But as early as the 17th century, philosophers and religious figures objected to the cruelty of vivisection and advanced a concept of animals' inherent worth and moral standing. Jeremy Bentham's challenge, "The question is not, can they reason, nor can they talk, but can they suffer?" still holds resonance in the treatment of animals in biomedical science. By the late 19th
Sample complete. Ready to continue?